millionth customer.
Luck is hard to come by. Thankfully, with Nutmeg State Financial's fan banking-tastic auto loan rates, you don't need luck to have a great banking experience.
This holiday season, give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Legendary chainsaws. Easy-to-use blowers. And hard-working trimmers. Battery, fuel, or electric. Give a steal this holiday.
Bacon, egg, cheese. Only one way to make this better. Another one. Dunkin' Go-Tos. Get 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches for $5. America runs on Dunkin'.
Good morning. I'm Jane Pauley, and this is Sunday Morning. With just 9 days to go until Christmas, holiday shopping is at its peak. Yet in the midst of all the frenzy, a former giant of American retailing is languishing. So what's in store for what was once one of our most popular places to shop? David Pogue will report our cover story.
Dear Mr. Sears and Roebuck.
Since 1893, Sears has been part of American life. There was the Sears catalog, the Sears stores, the Sears Tower. But now, the company is bankrupt and struggling to live through the holidays.
It's just a message to all businesses in America. You know, you have to change.
The 125-year rise and fall of an American icon. Ahead this Sunday morning.
By contrast, the stores known as pop-ups are both surviving and thriving. With Luke Burbank, we'll pop into a few.
Blink, and you might miss them. Temporary events that combine art, commerce, and culture.
We just want to come into a city, conquer a city, and leave.
The magical world of pop-ups. Later on Sunday morning.
Just in time for the holidays, a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious friend is back in the spotlight, her trusty umbrella in hand. Anthony Mason offers a preview.
After more than 50 years, Mary Poppins has finally returned. Emily Blunt plays the magical nanny, made famous by Julie Andrews.
How do you approach that?
All of the kind of gasps of, oh my God, you're Mary Poppins. Oh my God, Mary Poppins. I just approached her as I would any other part.
Everything is possible, even the impossible.
So she went back to the books. Ahead, with Emily Blunt, we look at the origins of Mary Poppins.
Off we go.
Our Sunday profile is of Michael Bublé, a singer many see as the heir to a very great tradition. With Tracy Smith, we'll pay him a visit.
I'm not surprised, not everything lasts. I've broken my heart so many times I stopped keeping track.
To his fans, Michael Bublé could be the greatest crooner since Sinatra. But he says he just got lucky.
You really think most of it is luck?
Oh my God.
Really?
Oh yes.
You kind of have a nice set of pipes, too.
So does everyone on American Idol. Go.
You make it look so easy.
It's not.
The Canadian Idol, Michael Bublé, coming up this Sunday morning.
It's the best time.
Roxana Saberi takes us to the land of Legos. Serena Altschul makes time for the marimba. Steve Hartman salutes a secret Santa, and more. First, the headlines for this Sunday morning, the 16th of December, 2018. There's another job opening in the Trump administration. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke will be out of his post by the end of the year, tweeted President Trump yesterday. The former Montana congressman faces several investigations into alleged misuse of power. President Trump is praising a federal judge's decision in Texas ruling that the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional. The president yesterday called the action on Obamacare, quote, a great ruling for our country. The law remains in effect pending an appeal. Police in Paris were out in force for a fifth straight weekend yesterday. Officers used tear gas to disperse anti-government protesters. President Trump, who expressed regret for skipping a visit to Arlington National Cemetery on Veterans Day, made an unscheduled stop at the cemetery yesterday. He spent 15 minutes in the drizzle looking at the headstones that have been decorated with holiday wreaths. Now the weather. A soggy Sunday for folks in the mid-Atlantic region into New England. Rain could turn to snow and ice in some areas. The West is also wet from Washington to California. For the week ahead, well, winter officially begins on Friday.
Rick Springfield, live. You know I wish that I had just this girl. I wish that I had 17 top 40 hits. You better love somebody. Monday, December 31st at 9 p.m. Grand Theater at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Tickets on sale now at foxwoods.com or call 1-800-200-2882. Click to rickspringfield.com for more.
Give a gift to the guy that gives you around. Shop the holiday sale at Men's Warehouse.
Now select suits are $199. Sport coats are $149, plus all dress shirts are $3 for $99.
He's gonna like the way he looks.
What better way to find your holiday spirit than a trip to the beautiful Litchfield Hills, where you'll find the Christmas shop at Litchfield Hills Nursery with a beautiful selection of ornaments, decorations, holiday plants, flowers, and trees. Bring the family and discover the Christmas you've always dreamed of at Litchfield Hills Nursery.
Cameron McIntosh presents the spectacular new production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera. Critics are raving. It's bigger and better than ever before. See the phenomenal new production of the world's greatest love story, The Phantom of the Opera.
At Toyota Oakdale Theater, May 8th through 19th. Visit Oakdale.com for tickets now.
What do we got? Keep an eye on that branch. Might get windy. Have a good shift.
Fire pit. Last use 0600. I'd stay close. Morning.
Get ready to switch.
Protected by Flo. Should say protected by Alan and Jamie, right?
Should it?
When you bundle home and auto, you get more than just savings. You get round-the-clock protection.
When you're on the go, we deliver the headlines straight to your phone.
And when your busy day's over, there's only one place to turn.
Eyewitness News at 11. New, exclusive, and live from your neighborhood.
With depth, perspective, and what it means for you.
Asking tough questions, getting the answers that matter to your family.
And preparing you for what's coming next.
The headlines and breaking news all day long.
And what it means for you every night at 11.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11 is everywhere.
Exactly 40 years ago, in millions of homes, maybe yours, entire families were eagerly looking through this holiday catalog from Sears. So what happened? And what's in store for the store that used to set the pace for American retailing? Our cover story is reported by David Pogue.
Dear Mr. Sears and Roebuck, I've been sitting here thumbing through your book.
At its peak, Sears Roebuck was the biggest retailer in the world. Its headquarters was the tallest building in the world.
One of America's great merchant companies is Sears Roebuck.
It was the biggest employer in America and was even America's biggest publisher. thanks to its famous catalog. But then,
Sears has officially filed for bankruptcy.
The company has struggled for years after it dominated the department store business for much of the 20th century.
Today, many of the Sears stores you grew up with look like this. Did you ever know this as a Sears? Were you ever here?
Yeah, I was here. I used to shop in here.
This Sears at the Paramus Park Mall in New Jersey is about to become a Stu Leonard's grocery store. Stu Leonard Jr. is the CEO.
I've always looked at Sears as you know, a great retailer. And now to see us taking over a Sears, I will sit there and say, boy, we have to keep changing too as retailers.
Sears was founded 125 years ago by a railroad man named Richard Sears. With his partners, Alva Roebuck and later Julius Rosenwald, he figured out that America's new railroads and the Postal Service's package delivery would let them deliver products to small towns all over the country. Sears sold everything you'd ever need, from cradle to grave. Everything for the house, including the whole house.
No greater anti-communist propaganda could be disseminated in Russia or elsewhere than a few thousand of the 40 million copies of Sears catalogs put out each year.
They took elite artifacts that only wealthy people had, made them accessible to people who were rising up through this new thing called the middle class.
Don Katz is the author of The Big Store, an inside look at Sears written in 1986. He says Sears didn't invent the future only once. In 1925, the company's then Vice President Robert Wood launched Sears' second act, opening physical stores.
He decided that the automobile was the key to what was going to happen to commerce in America. And he began to buy the crossroads outside of cities and towns all over the country.
Those crossroads eventually became the suburbs. And when Americans moved in, Sears was waiting. You make it sound like Sears was this incredibly innovative company at the beginning.
Completely innovative. They were inventing consistently.
Sears people will tell you that the real satisfactions come from building into a job a part of yourself.
In its heyday, Sears offered job benefits like profit sharing and generous pensions. No wonder so many employees stayed with the company for decades.
This end table came from Sears, and the two wing backs came from Sears.
Bobby Jones worked at Sears for 35 years.
Recliner.
And filled his house with its products.
This is a Kenmore dishwasher, microwave oven. This table and chairs and the china cabinet came from Sears. The drapes came from Sears. From my very first memory as a child, the Sears catalog was there in our house. The majority of the clothes, shoes, was ordered from Sears. My mother even ordered her fruitcake each Christmas from Sears.
But over the years, innovation slowed and things began to change.
Sears became increasingly inwardly focused, as many businesses that become very successful and very large do, to their peril.
Mark Cohen was once the CEO of Sears Canada. Today, he teaches retail studies at Columbia University. He says that Sears could have survived the competition from Walmart, Home Depot, and even Amazon. What ultimately doomed Sears, he says, was bad leaders, especially billionaire investor Edward Lampert, who bought Sears in 2004 and merged it with Kmart.
Today, Kmart went shopping and came home with Sears.
Lampert has sold off Sears brands and real estate and closed hundreds of stores. Of the 2,300 Sears locations 8 years ago, only about 500 remain open today. Lampert has publicly defended his efforts to turn the company around, and in an email to Sears employees, he blamed the bankruptcy in part on today's, quote, difficult retail environment. After declining our repeated requests to interview Lampert, Sears yesterday provided a statement that reads in part, protecting the interests of Sears associates and all stakeholders has and will continue to be a priority for the management. Is it possible that Sears was already behind the times, doomed to go out of business when Lampert came along, and that he really wasn't the tipping point?
Well, I believe in 2005, when Lampert took over, the company could have been resurrected. Amazon still was in a very nascent position. Sears still had a tremendous reputation, especially in brands like Kenmore, Craftsman, and Die Hard. And so there was no reason to believe the company had to, quote unquote, fail.
Many retirees at the Sears reunion in Atlanta can't understand why Sears couldn't turn its successful catalog business into a successful internet store.
Get the orders in, get the merchandise out, and get it out fast.
Sears could have had control of that just like Amazon many years ago. And this, I guess...
They gave it away.
Didn't give it away. That's right.
Well, good point. After predicting the impact of the railroad and then the highway system, how could Sears miss the rise of the internet? Well, it didn't.
Connect Prodigy to your computer and get stock quotes almost as fast as a broker.
Remember the early online service called Prodigy? It was a joint venture between Sears, IBM, and CBS.
Get sports scores faster than on TV. Shop at home.
11 years before Jeff Bezos founded Amazon.com. It was just a little ahead of its time.
What happens when you lose your way is you don't even know what you have anymore.
20 years after writing his book about Sears, Don Katz left journalism to found the audiobook company Audible, which in 2008 was bought by Amazon. He says all companies, even his own, can learn from what happened to Sears.
They needed to reinvent themselves in a really disruptive way. It just didn't happen.
The remaining Sears stores are still open for the holidays, and just last week, Edward Lampert's hedge fund offered to buy the company out of bankruptcy for $4.6 billion, saying they believed in Sears's, quote, potential to evolve. But retail professor Mark Cohen isn't optimistic.
The company has zero chance of success. I hate to say that because there's still quite a few people in the U.S. at least who look to Sears for their employment, but there's no chance for the future there, in my opinion.
You walk in, you hit the farmer's market, then you're going to hit the bakery right over there.
And at that Stu Leonard's grocery store in New Jersey, the only bit of Sears that will remain is a lesson.
It's just a message to all businesses in America. You know, you have to change. Just as a good reminder for us, we have to change every day.
But for some folks, business is booming.
With a pop-up, it's saying, hey, limited call to action, get here now while supplies last.
That's coming up.
Discrimination on the basis of sex is legal.
What did you say your name was?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
We're going to topple the whole system of discrimination.
You're ready for this. You've been ready for this your whole life.
You think you can change the country?
This is just the beginning.
On the Basis of Sex, inspired by an incredible true story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, rated PG-13, in select theaters Christmas Day.
Excedrin sees your relentless pounding headache, even if no one else can. It's why we focus only on headaches. Nothing works faster. We see your pain and what's possible without it. Excedrin Extra Strength.
Seriously, what is this? New Listerine Ready tabs aren't gum, mints, or marbles. If you guessed they're tabs that turn into liquid as you chew, so you can swish and clean your whole mouth instantly, then you were correct. And that was a really good guess. Nice job.
When we were dating, we used to get excited about things like concert tickets or a new snowboard. But that all changed when we bought a house.
Voila!
Matt started turning into his dad.
That's some good mulch. I'm more. But it was pretty nifty when Jen showed me how easy it was to protect our home and auto with Progressive. Get this butterscotch right here.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents.
It took quite a bit of work because this was a lot. This is all staple.
But we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
So what is the future of retailing? Luke Burbank thinks he may know.
'Tis the season to be shopping. But while everyone is bemoaning the death of malls and other brick-and-mortar retail, pop-ups have been, popping up all over the place. These temporary events, think of them as the hermit crabs of unused retail space, serve all kinds of purposes, from selling products overtly to selling things in a more subtle way, like this recent pop-up that brought back New York's famed Carnegie Deli, which actually closed in 2016, all in the interest of promoting an Amazon Prime TV show.
Ah, this is a sandwich.
Because they're fun, immersive, and oh so Instagrammable, but somebody still has to pay for them, pop-ups often straddle the line between art and commerce. And nobody straddles that line quite like 29 Rooms.
When your back's against the wall, 'cause you feel you've lost it all.
We think of 29 Rooms as our immersive world of culture and creativity where 29 different artists bring to life spaces and experiences. So it's everything from dance to art to music to film.
It's the creation of Piera Gilardi,
This year we created this space
whose digital media company, Refinery 29, covers culture from the perspective of young women. 29 Rooms, which popped up in LA for just 4 days a week ago, featured various rooms curated by artists and celebrities like Nicole Richie and Kesha, and social justice organizations like the ACLU, and major brands like Pantene, Smirnoff, and morning after pill Plan B, which paid for these phone booths where visitors could hear pre-recorded stories of emergency contraception.
All of my family lives in Iowa, so if I were to explain this to them, I would tell them that this is an interactive, live, like in-the-moment type exhibit where you can see, feel, touch, hear. It's just sensory overload.
For these brands, paying to be here, at least temporarily, is a good way to reach potential customers in real life, which is difficult to do in this era of online shopping.
We wanted an opportunity to really connect people in a physical space and allow them to interact with artists, interact with different forms of creativity that they might not already have access with, and then interact with both our brand and our brand partners.
Pop-ups have become big business, worth about $50 billion in 2016. So popular, that in fact the average length of commercial retail leases has shrunk from 20 years to just 5 years. Just ask John Goodman.
We just want to come into a city, conquer a city, and leave. Make them wanting more. Whether we come back or not, who knows? But
Goodman used to be the CEO of mall retailers like Mervyn's and Wet Seal. But these days, he thinks the future of retail is in pop-ups, like the one he runs, Candytopia.
Feel free to touch and interact with the candy displays.
A traveling funhouse dedicated to all things sweet.
I was in retail my whole life, so I know the mall, I know the area, I know experiential retail. I felt like we could be part of the reinvention of the mall because it was getting staid and tired.
Goodman's business partner is Jackie Sorkin, celebrity candy artist. And yes, there is such a thing.
It's just hundreds of thousands of pieces of candy, thousands of hours of work.
Who took us on a tour of Candytopia San Francisco.
I was obsessed with Willy Wonka. I was a latchkey kid, so, spent a lot of time watching the movie over and over and over again. And eventually, I think the principles of the movie really spoke to me.
And for a limited time, visitors can experience those principles themselves, all for the low, low price of $34 a ticket. There's the Celebrity Portrait Gallery, made of candy. Next door to the room where candy confetti shoots out of, well, just see for yourself. And of course, don't forget the gift shop. But the main attraction might be the giant pit of fake marshmallows. A moment perfect for sharing on social media, which is kind of the point, says Sorkin.
We've got all these incredible structures, or you want to take photos with the candy sculptures. It's really just a Instagrammer's dream, really.
Dreams that can also come true at San Francisco's Museum of Ice Cream, which technically speaking is not really a museum, but was so popular as a pop-up, it's now permanent. And just the place to take that perfect picture with that special someone, yourself.
With a pop-up, it's your ability to get people there quickly, because it's saying, hey, limited call to action, get here now while supplies last. So the idea that this beautiful room made of flowers or this crazy room made of tape may not be here forever, so come take your photo, get a really cool angle on it, and then, you know, go about your day.
Tommy Honton is one of the founders of the Museum of Selfies.
We're standing in our famous bathroom. There's a bit of an optical illusion effect.
Located, where else? In Hollywood. And yes, it also started as a pop-up.
When you walk into a real space, you're there. That's very special because there are chemicals in our brains that react when we are in a space. Watching TV, you can still get a reaction from a character or a journey, but you know that content's only...
Hold on there, Tommy. Let's not get carried away. But he does have a point. There's no substitute for actually being there. Not online, not on your phone, actually being there with someone you love.
Next, time for a snack.
This portion of Sunday Morning is sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Ray, and I quit smoking with Chantix. Smoking, it dictates your day. I didn't like something having control over me. I wanted to stop. The thing is I didn't know how.
Chantix, along with support, helps you quit smoking.
Chantix reduced my urge to smoke, and to the point that I could quit.
When you try to quit smoking, with or without Chantix, you may have nicotine withdrawal symptoms. Some people had changes in behavior or thinking, aggression, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, or suicidal thoughts or actions with Chantix. Serious side effects may include seizures, new or worse heart or blood vessel problems, sleepwalking, or allergic and skin reactions, which can be life-threatening. Stop Chantix and get help right away if you have any of these. Tell your healthcare provider if you've had depression or other mental health problems. Decrease alcohol use while taking Chantix. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. The most common side effect is nausea.
For me, Chantix worked. Boom. End of story.
Talk to your doctor about Chantix.
Oats have a soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which can help lower cholesterol when part of a heart-healthy diet. What's more, these oats have no artificial flavors, preservatives, or added colors. Now that's something to celebrate.
At Fidelity, we help you prepare for the unexpected with retirement planning and advice for what you need today and tomorrow. Because when you're with Fidelity, there's nothing to stop you from moving forward.
The hot drink vending machine. These days, you'll find it everywhere.
And now a page from our Sunday Morning Almanac. December 16th, 1884, 134 years ago today. The day William Henry Fruin of Minneapolis patented his automatic liquid drawing device. Designed for some reason to look like a building, Fruin's device dispensed mineral water upon the deposit of a coin, making it America's first patented vending machine. The first, but hardly the last. Over the decades, of course, vending machines of ever-increasing complexity and variety have become a familiar sight across our land. So familiar that a vending machine even figured into Stanley Kubrick's 1964 nuclear war comedy, Dr. Strangelove. In need of small change to make a payphone call to the president, Peter Sellers implores Keenan Wynn to open fire.
But if you don't get the President of the United States on that phone, you know what's going to happen to you? What? You're going to have to answer to the Coca-Cola Company.
Most transactions go far more smoothly than that, of course. Today, vending machines dispense all